remember back when I was 12 or 13 or something like that, my dad took me to a trip to Mexico City to meet some friends and family, but also so I could kind of get used to my Mexican roots, because, you know, I was very big into American culture and all that, so it's kind of good to kind of get exposed to where I came from and stuff like that. But of course, even back then, I was still big into video games. I wanted to see what cool arcade games were there at that time, as opposed to what was back home. And yeah, I got to see the X-Men, the 6-player X-Men arcade game made by Konami for the first time. I got to see the Ninja Turtle arcade game, but this one had like the 2 different monitors for the action. And I always thought that was kind of weird. I was used to the one back home that was just this one big monitor for the whole 4-player action. And yeah, I actually got to see Double Dragon for the first time. I remember that Double Dragon was pretty awesome because you could actually like attack the bad guys that had like bats and stuff, take the bats and beat them with their own weapon, and that was pretty cool. But the real arcade game that really got me at that time anyways was Pit Fighter. Pit Fighter, for whatever reason, back when I was 12 or whatever, Pit Fighter was fucking awesome. Like, I just thought it was so cool. You could pick from 3 guys and fight against all these people in different stages and earn cash, and the graphics are kind of like digitized and stuff like that. It's like something like, I've never seen anything like it. It was like fucking awesome. It's like the closest to like a Street Fighter type game before Street Fighter became big, or at least before I got to know about Street Fighter, because I never played the first one and everything, but like, it was fucking awesome. And honestly speaking, the only time we would play Double Dragon was when everybody was playing Pit Fighter and we couldn't play. We just had to kind of wait or something, so we played Double Dragon to kill some time. But Pit Fighter, that was fucking awesome. And also, the weird thing also while we're talking about arcade games and money is, it was weird because back then, the Mexican money, the Mexican pesos, like the coins, were like these big, fat, almost golden coins that as a kid, like me, you know, being used to American stuff, it was like, oh damn, these look like the kind of stuff you would find in a treasure chest or something. It like looked so weird to me. And the interesting thing was somewhere in the mid-90s or so, like they would change the money, and the money would be smaller and look, you know, relatively close to like American currency or other such, you know, money and coins. And they would be called Nuevo Pesos or New Pesos. Like, can you imagine that to American money? Can you imagine if all of a sudden, like next month or something, they announce that the dollar is now going to be like a bit smaller and it's going to be blue or something, and like it's going to be like 10 new dollars that are $1 American dollar is now going to be called 10 new dollars and all that shit. Like, I can't imagine like the country changing currency and stuff, but yeah, that was back then. But back to Pit Fighter though, the other day I was kind of thinking about what game should I review. I thought about Pit Fighter, and I'm curious. I really haven't played it too much, just a couple of times, but, you know, since back then, I should say. So, has the game aged well? Is the game still as awesome and as badass as I remember it back then, as my 12-year-old self remembered back then? That's the thing. We're going to find out today. So, thanks to the Midway Arcade Treasures 2 for the PS2, or, you know, what's left of this box didn't survive the trip. We're going to check out the arcade version of Pit Fighter. This is Mark Rodriguez, you're watching Video Game Masters, and today we're talking about Pit Fighter 2 for the PlayStation 2. Let's check it out. Sorry PlayStation 4 with all your Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite and Dragon Ball Fighter Z and all that stuff, but this time we're going to go back to the PlayStation 2 and show you how it's done. Pit Fighter was released in the arcades in 1990 by Atari. It was one of the first games to ever use real live digitized actors to portray the characters, and it was a 3-player arcade game. This might be considered a fighting game of sorts, but it's more similar to the old SNK beat-em-up Street Smart, where you and your friends help each other defeat several opponents through several matches. The more players there are, however, the more opponents you have to fight. You get to choose from 3 Pit Fighters: Buzz, the ex-wrestler, Tai, the kickboxing champion, and Kato, the 3rd-degree black belt. Buzz is strong and kinda slow, Kato is the fast and weaker guy, and Tai is pretty much well-rounded. You have 3 buttons which are for punches, kicks, and jumping. Each character has punches, kicks, throws, jump kicks, they can even block, and you have a special attack if you press all 3 buttons at the same time. Buzz has a pile driver, Kato has a multiple strike combo, and Tai has his super sweet spin kick. Just check that out. You have 15 matches to survive against all kinds of different opponents. You'll face several crazy challengers like the Executioner, Southside Jim, this crazy laughing asshole, and Angel.
Nope, that that's me.
Hey, I thought we got rid of you already. Some stages have weapons lying around and can be used like sticks, knives, and throwing stars. You can also throw objects like bar stools, crates, even motorcycles. If you get close enough to the audience, they push you back into the fight, and some of them even step out to stab you or swing sticks at you. After every 2 fights, you have a bonus round where you face off against your buddy or a computer-controlled clone. This match is based on knockdowns, so every time you manage to knock the other person down, you win a point. And this is all best 2 out of 3. After winning each match, you get to earn money depending on how well you did. Gotta love that brutality bonus. During the fights, smashing some crates and things can reveal the power pill. Taking the power pill makes you glow green, makes your attack stronger, and lets you take less damage. There's gotta be a hidden message in there somewhere. The problem is, the opponents can use them too, so you have to scramble to get them before they do. I mean, do you want this laughing asshole to get even stronger? The final boss is known only as the Masked Warrior.
Alright, now it's time for the final boss, and damn, I can really use Johnny in a time like this.
Unfortunately for me, you can only face this guy one-on-one, so Johnny would be no help. In the real arcade, you and your friends have to fight for the right to fight this guy one-on-one to become the champ, get the money, get the fame, and get the girls. Let's do this.
Oh man, get the power pill, get the power pill. Oh damn, you get the power pill first. Alright, now I got the power pill. Oh yeah, there we go, there we go. Yeah, there you go. I'm the champ, I get the money, and I'm finally done with this game. Oh my god. So, did Pit Fighter age well? Is it still the same awesome arcade game I played back in Mexico City when I was 12 or 13, all starry-eyed? Not exactly. I mean, you have to kind of put yourself into the mindset of the era the game was made. It was actually like the first game to use like real actors digitized into the game before Mortal Kombat made it popular. So back then it was like, oh my god, super realistic graphics, like real people, not drawings. And you have like weapons and blood and violence, and you're making cash, like you're like earning fight money and brutality bonus and stuff like that. It's so fucking awesome. And I have to say, to this day, Ty's spinning kick move thing is still one of the most awesome moves in fighting games today. It's like so fucking awesome. Like, you have that sense of satisfaction when you actually pull it off correctly and it connects and the person gets knocked down and you're like, yeah! Like, it makes you feel like saying, yeah! With the game. Now, of course, the game is a quarter muncher. The people just gang up on your ass. Even when it's all 3 players, they still gang up on your ass. And there are more enemies the more players you have. So it is pretty insane when it's all 3 players. And yeah, you die pretty quickly. And your energy does not carry over to the next fight. So if you win a fight with only 1 hit point, you're like 1 hit away from death. You go to the next match, bam, 1 hit, you're dead. Put another quarter, put another peso. Now, as for the game itself, for me back then, it was kind of hard to get too hyped up about it because when I went back home from Mexico, back to the States, like, there wasn't a Pit Fighter arcade machine in my area. I mean, we had the Turtles, we had the Simpsons, we had the X-Men, stuff like that, but we didn't have a Pit Fighter arcade, so it's kind of weird, or I should say, kind of difficult for me to get all hyped up and tell Johnny about how cool this game is because, like, well, where is it, Mark? It sounds awesome. Where's the game? Because he can't play it. There's no arcade anywhere. And yeah, when the SNES version came out, we bought it, and oh my god, the graphics were very subpar. The game was as hard as the arcade, but even harder because it was 1 life and no continues. Like, for a game like Pit Fighter, 1 life and no continues, what the fuck, man? And for some weird reason, the life is portrayed as, like, numbers. Like, I don't understand, why numbers? In the real arcade, it was an actual, like, life bar, an actual energy bar, and here it's, like, numbers, and these numbers drop quick when you're getting hit. It was like, why did they do it this way? I'm so confused. And the music. Like, do you hear the song that's playing right now as I'm talking? That is the only song you're gonna hear for the entire game. Every match, the little bonus matches, the final boss, like that's the only music that plays through the entire game. What the hell? Kind of a fucking lazy rush job was THQ doing? Like, as far as I can tell, the Genesis version had at least some continues, the graphics were a bit better, and they have different music tracks. So, like, wow, the SNES version really dropped the ball. I mean, rarely return games, because back then we were very selective of what games that we buy and stuff like that, because we intend to actually, you know, keep them. But no, we sold that shit. That game fucking sucked. After doing more research, I discovered there was actually a Sega Master System version of Pit Fighter, and Atari Lynx version. Yeah, I remember the Atari Lynx, and the Game Boy version of Pit Fighter. Like, after playing the SNES version, can you imagine how the Game Boy version would play? Like, holy shit. There was also a Tiger game based on Pit Fighter, but also a Tiger game based on anything back then. And I also discovered that the version I played on Midway Arcade Treasures 2 was actually like a bit faster than the Rio Arcade. So you can kind of disregard my reaction to the people jumping around so much. I assume in the Rio Arcade they don't jump around so much. But it kind of defeats the purpose of this game here. It's supposed to be like Arcade Treasures, supposed to bring like the Rio Arcade experience to your home, but it's like fucked up. So thanks a lot, Midway, for giving me like wrong impressions here of my childhood. And also, other complaints I have is that when you play Arch Rivals in this collection, it seems almost either like very difficult or impossible to play a two-player game. I don't know why. Like it's as easy as just choosing one or two players, and for some reason like it doesn't work, or maybe this copy's faulty, I don't know. There's also another version of Pit Fighter for Midway Arcade Origins for the Xbox 360, but I'm not sure if that one's going to play more like the Rio Arcade, or it's going to be like a mismatch like this one was. Now, for Pit Fighter, there really wasn't a Pit Fighter 2. They made another game called Guardians of the Hood that people kept advertising, kind of like, I guess, the spiritual successor of Pit Fighter, because, you know, Midway made it too, and it also had the digitized actors and stuff, but it really had nothing to do with Pit Fighter. You were fighting gangs and stuff. But the interesting thing is, I remember there was supposed to be a Genesis version of Pit Fighter 2, and I was confused because there was no arcade version. I guess it was going to be like an original Genesis game. It was like Pit Fighter 2, and it was going to have like a mix of the characters between Pit Fighter and Guardians of the Hood, and that would have been kind of cool. That would have actually connected the game together, and I kind of wish that there was a real Pit Fighter 2 that had the characters from Pit Fighter and Guardians of the Hood together. That would have been kind of cool. But, yeah, what can I say? It never happened. It was never made. And that's where Pit Fighter ended up. I guess when it started with Mortal Kombat, that's when Mortal Kombat really hit its stride, hit the ground running, never looked back, never come back to Pit Fighter. As for the game itself, I can't really, it's hard to recommend. I got nostalgia, I got bias. But if you never played the game, I mean, it's going to look like a crappy game. It is pretty crappy in that way. If you take off the nostalgia goggles, the characters jump all over the place. It's all crazy. The bad guys are super hyper. The bad guys attack each other, and I honestly can't tell if they're supposed to attack each other, or it's just because the crazy-ass programming is like all over the place. I can't even tell if that's like on purpose or not. And it's basically button mash, and pray you get the power pill before the bad guys get the power pill, because you're fucking screwed and stuff like that. So if you guys never played Pit Fighter before in the arcade, I don't blame you if you think like what the fuck is this crap, you know? It's an interesting game. I still kind of like it, sorta. I mean, you get tired of it after a while, really, you know, but it's good for novelty's sake, it's good for nostalgia's sake, but that's really more or less all it's good for. So anyways, guys, this is Mark Rodriguez here. This has been another episode of Video Game Masters. Thanks for watching, and see you next time. That wasn't supposed to happen.
Your options are...
No. No. Hell no. No. Ah, water. Get out of that! What the freak, Johnny? That water's cold. Jeez.
Hey, you're not supposed to get me wet either.
Are you okay, dude?
I don't know, guys. I think Angel got in my head. Oh my God, I shot more. More! Oh my God, this is all my fault. It's all my fault! Johnny, it's not your fault. I pulled the trigger. I killed more.
No, it's my fault that Angel's on our show. Long ago, when our show was new.
Oh God, not another flashback.
Ooh, I like the witch.
Well, anyway, when the show was new, we got a few letters here and there. And we got one from a girl named Angelina. She was a big fan of the show and really wanted to guest star. She sounded alright, but to be on the safe side, I ran her through a background check. She was totally crazy. It says she was a crazy stalker and just messed up in general. I told her thanks, but no thanks.
Huh?
And a month later, Angel appeared on the show.
Snooping as usual, I see.
Who said that?
I did.
Well, who the hell are you?
Why didn't you tell us any of this earlier?
I didn't know it was gonna go this far. I didn't know she was gonna do all this crazy stuff. It's supposed to be a guest star.
Either way, dude, this is really messed up.
She was nice before. I mean, she even bought us a game.
Maybe when we moved out, she got mad because she thought we were trying to get rid of her.